The sky over Kerala had been overcast for several weeks. The rain, relentless, kept pouring down. It was a powerful rain, like a monsoon. The rivers overflowed, becoming large and swift. The fields looked like ponds, water everywhere. Most people stayed indoors, waiting for the rain to stop. The sound of raindrops hitting the roof was familiar to everyone. But this year's rain felt different, stronger and unending. For the people in the small hilly villages, it was a cause for great fear. Knowing the danger of landslides with so much water, one afternoon, near the small village of Adimali, the rain was pouring heavily. The wind howled like a hungry wolf. The ground was soaked. It could no longer hold any more water. Suddenly, there was a loud rumble, louder than thunder. The ground began to shake. People inside their homes felt it. They were terrified. On a main road winding through the hills, a few brave drivers were hurrying along. Despite the bad weather, their drivers were trying to reach their destinations. That road connected many small villages, and for many, it was a lifeline. Then, with a loud noise, a large part of the road disappeared. It fell into a large chasm. The earth had given way. Tar, rocks, and soil all tumbled down. Where the road once was, a large, dark chasm had formed. It was a frightening sight. The collapse happened very quickly. Fortunately, no one was driving on that road at the time. From the chasm, even in the pouring rain, dust and steam rose. The air was filled with the smell of wet soil and an unfamiliar scent. From the depths of this newly formed chasm, something astonishing began to move. At first, the people watching from a distance couldn't believe their eyes. They wiped the rainwater from their faces. Slowly, a large head emerged. Even in the dim light, it was covered in scales that glistened like wet gems. Two large, fiery eyes looked around. Then, a long, snake-like, powerful, and ancient body followed. A creature from myths, a dragon, had emerged from beneath the broken earth. It seemed as furious as the storm itself. The creature that emerged was truly enormous and terrifying. Its scales were a deep brown, with some reflecting a copper-like shine. With each breath, smoke or vapor emerged from its nostrils. Unlike the dragons of Western tales, it had no wings. It resembled a large, majestic serpent, but it had powerful legs and sharp claws. Its long tail thrashed powerfully, displacing soil and rocks. The air around it seemed to have a peculiar heat. The few onlookers present were too astonished to speak. They had heard of such creatures in the old stories told by their grandparents. In India, stories of powerful serpents have a long history. They are called Nagas. Nagas are often depicted as divine beings or demigods. They are believed to live in subterranean realms or deep seas, guarding treasures. Sometimes they are wise and benevolent. Other times, when angered, they can be extremely dangerous. Many ancient temples have carvings of Nagas. People worship them, praying for rain and prosperity. These stories are an integral part of our culture. They teach us about the power of nature. Other creatures in Indian folklore also have dragon-like forms. For example, the Makara, a sea creature. It typically has the head of an elephant or crocodile and the body of a fish or serpent. It symbolizes strength and protection. These creatures are not always seen as evil demons. They are often part of nature, representing its untamed and mysterious aspects. When this creature appeared in Kerala, people were reminded of these old stories. Could it be a Naga awakened from its ancient slumber due to the heavy rain? The sight of the dragon directly connected the present moment with those ancient beliefs. It was as if a page from mythology had come to life. Its majestic form reminded people of a time when the world was believed to be full of such wonders and terrors. These stories had been passed down through generations. They spoke of wondrous creatures hidden from human eyes. Now, it seemed as if one such creature had decided to reveal itself. The villagers wondered what its arrival could mean. The news of the dragon spread like wildfire in Adimali and nearby areas. At first, many thought it was just a mere rumor, a crazy story born out of the storm. But soon, some shaky mobile phone videos started circulating. Though they were unclear and taken from a distance, they showed a giant snake-like creature in a landslide area. Fear was the initial reaction of many. People locked their doors, worried about their safety, their children, and their pets. The continuous rain added to their anxiety and fear. But along with fear, there was also a sense of wonder and curiosity among everyone. Some elderly villagers started praying, believing it to be a divine power, a guardian spirit of the mountains, or an angry spirit that had been disturbed. They suggested offering rituals to calm it down. Some brave, or perhaps foolish, young men decided to go and see it up close. They talked about the adventure and the opportunity to see something no one had ever seen before. The village became a hub of excited conversations, hushed whispers, and serious discussions. Everyone had their own opinions and discoveries. The local authorities were quickly informed. The village head contacted the district collector. Initially, the officials didn't believe it. They thought it was a sighting related to the landslide, or an exaggerated story of a large snake by frightened villagers. But as more information came in, and despite the unclear videos, some evidence prompted them to investigate. A team of police and forest department officials were sent there. Ensuring the safety of the villagers and carefully assessing the situation was their first task. They had no certainty about what they were going to find. The officials cordoned off the entire area around the landslide. They warned people not to go there. The rain and the uncertain terrain made the place very dangerous. They tried to get a better look at the large pit and the creature inside it. Experts from the capital, Thiruvananthapuram, were called in. There were geologists to study the pit and zoologists to study the creature. But no one was sure which type of zoologist studies dragons. Understanding what had happened there and determining if the creature continued to pose a threat to the villagers was the immediate challenge. This story from Kerala, about a dragon emerging after a storm, can be heard in many cultures around the world. In China, dragons are symbols of power and are usually seen as benevolent beings. They control water, rain, storms, and floods. They are symbols of luck and strength. In Europe, dragons are often depicted as evil, fire-breathing creatures that guard treasures and must be slain by heroes. Despite the differences in these stories, they show that humans have always imagined powerful beings connected to natural forces, living beyond our understanding. Even rare sightings of real animals are sometimes linked to folklore. For example, the long, ribbon-like oarfish that lives in the deep sea is sometimes called a messenger from the sea god's palace in Japan. Some believe its appearance on the surface is a sign of an impending earthquake. Although scientists haven't found a strong connection, these beliefs persist. This shows our tendency to find meaning and order in unusual natural events, often linking them to old stories and warnings. Such events can make ancient myths feel very real and significant. This incident in Kerala, whether the creature was a real dragon or something else, deeply affected the locals. It prompted them to face the unknown. It blurred the lines between the real world and the world of myths they had heard since childhood. For a while, even the impossible seemed possible. Their ancestors' stories about spirits and wondrous creatures living in the land gained new importance. It made them think about their connection to nature and the secrets it still hides. In the end, myths and legends play a significant role in how communities understand the world. They provide explanations for the unexplainable. Our fears, hopes, and sense of wonder are all reflected in them. When something extraordinary, like a dragon sighting happens, these old stories provide a way for people to understand the event. Even in our modern, scientific age, the power of myths is significant. They shape our perspectives and remind us that the world may still hold mysteries stranger than we can imagine.